My name is John Williams, and I am the principal and founder of Process Creative Studios, which is an architecture and design firm based in Cleveland, Ohio. You know, once we're done with the design process, of course, we've got to deal with two very pragmatic issues, schedule and cost. Sometimes we'll get a quote from a sales rep and they say, oh, that's, it'll be 20 bucks a square yard. And then, in reality, it's 35 bucks a square yard by the time everybody tacks on the numbers. And it's got to go through a distributor and then a wholesaler and then the general contractor before it comes to us. So we have to belabor the point of what's this going to cost and what's it going to cost installed or what's it going to cost on site. But the other issue is schedule. And we do have good relationships with people and we push them on timing. And timing in some projects is just absolutely critical. If you can't supply it in that time frame, don't tell me you can, because in the end, you're messing up my project and I'm not gonna probably come back to you again. It's that simple. So, we work with reps who are honest and straightforward and will say, hey, I can't get that to you in that time frame. When we place a specification on our drawings, there are times when we absolutely, this is what we want, and it says this is what you want. This is on the drawings, it's what you've bid. Don't try to give us an alternate. On the majority of things that we're specifying though, when it's construction related, we're willing to look at alternatives. And sometimes we're forced to look at alternatives. We'll go back to the same manufacturer and see what they have, and we work very successfully with contractors this way, they can come to us and say, listen, I have another product that's very similar to what you've specified, and I can get it for 25% cheaper. Do you want to take a look at it? Well, of course I'm going to take a look at it. Once things are specified, almost on every single job, there is some change to our specification for whatever reason. Whether we find an alternate that's less expensive or somebody brings something to the table that's less expensive. It's usually lead time, but there's always something on a project that changes the specification. As far as a general rule of thumb, it might be anywhere up to 20–25% of what is specified ultimately changes at some point during the construction. So we will fight for the specifications that we put on our drawings, but that doesn't mean that we're not open-minded. It's all client-driven. When it's important for a client, we love it, because that's one of the reasons I did get into this profession. I'm not looking to brand this as something that we've done. It's about them, and we have to listen to what they have to say. We're designing based on their schedule, based on their budget, and based on their goal. In the end, I hate to say this too, the aesthetics are almost the easiest part. We labor over them. It's very, very detail-oriented, but what's really hard is making sure that a space functions properly for a client. You look at what a client can afford and you take the low-hanging fruit. If it makes sense to do and it doesn't impact the client's bottom line, that's what we try to do. After that, we start to push them a little bit more, but it's still client-driven. I'm not going to shove something down their throat.